Hey everyone, so this video was suggested by one of my subscribers and I actually thought it would be a great idea to speak about because I think that cracking into the music industry in South Africa is a completely different ball game to anywhere else. So I'm going to kind of speak about those similarities and differences and what you got to do to make it in South Africa as a musician. The first thing it takes to actually be a South African musician is a complete devotion to your craft. I mean, you have to actually be able to do it, you have to be growing at it consistently, and you have to keep treating it the way it deserves to be treated, which is like a business. So if you continue to grow it the same way you would in a sort of business scenario, that's definitely going to benefit your growth as a musician. So that's the first thing, is sort of like keep growing, treat it like a business. As much as this might be a dream, like for so many people, myself included, I was like, oh, it would be the dream, living the dream, living the dream. And the problem with that mentality, it's not that it's a bad thing, it's just that the problem with that mentality is a dream only shows you the end goal. A dream is only about what it's like once you've made it. A dream doesn't show the hard crap that you need to do in the middle to live the version of that dream. So when you treat it like a business, you get a different perspective. You realize, hold on, I have to take steps to actually grow this to the point where it brings back what I'm putting in. So first and most important thing about being a musician, actually I think anywhere in the world, is to treat it like a business as well as your dream. Keep that in mind. It's just something that you should keep there to sort of grow in the right direction. Second thing it takes to being a South African musician is promoting your music. Like, you have to actually get out there. You have to promote your music. And you guys can start with like Googling. Just Google where to submit my music for playlists, because the biggest thing in your research you're going to find is that when people hear your music in different areas, that is how your music actually becomes like your state of self. You know, it becomes your life, your career and things like that. So make sure that you promote it. It's the same as any other business where you'd have to have sales representatives marketing and selling your product. It's the exact same kind of concept. You need to promote and sell your product, which is your music, you as a musician and your music. So you guys just need to Google. You need to stay on Googling, researching. You need to spend time learning about how to better the craft itself and also how to get people to hear it. You might be able to, I think it's called Submit Hub. I might be wrong, but I will link them down below where you can actually go and send your music to them, and like sort of, if you're lucky, it gets on places. So keep promoting, no matter what you have to do when you meet people, when you're networking. That's actually such an important one that I realized is, I'm going to get to this at a later stage though, but social media is so important. And the way you grow that is not by, hey, post and do this and, you know, get these false followers or false likes and things like that where you buy the services, because that's never going to be sustainable. So you kind of have to meet people, really like meet and get to know someone, and then they become a follower who's devoted to your channel, right? Because that's how social media works, and that's going to be point 3, is social media. Being a musician in South Africa, the third thing it takes is growing your social media. You have to have an audience. You have to show people who eventually are going to help and hop on board with your career, like to take it to new levels. You have to show them that you've got marketable characteristics, and the way that we do that in the modern world of music is through having a social media following. And it might not necessarily mean have like 1 billion followers, you know, or even 1 million followers, or even 100,000 followers, but the point is that there's people that are genuinely following you and liking your content because you met them and they like who you are. So the networking, that's what I spoke about in point 2 about promoting your music, is so important, because social media is the platform to do it. Social media is the place where you're going to grow this following, that people actually respond to your things. And that's why it's important in this networking to really meet people, really talk to them, get to know who they are as well. And when they're active on your social media, it's because they got to know who you are, you know, and it's a lot of fun. Meeting new people is part of being a musician anywhere in the world. You're going to meet new people, and it's exciting, you know. You get these really interesting people you meet who might have opportunities for you, or they might just help you reflect on something you really love about yourself. So with regards to networking, you have to actually enjoy this process and like meeting people. You have to be extroverted enough to enjoy meeting people. Take photos, you know, it's fun, memories with people. And that's why, like, anytime I've done a meet and greet or anything like that, I always want to photograph, and I ask them, tag me, and I screenshot that photo because it's like a memory for me. It's really exciting, and I remember the person and what they were interested in. Another thing about social media that is so important is consistency. Platforms are designed to keep people on them. So if you have Instagram following or YouTube following or whatever, you have to be consistent. If you aren't consistent, you're not devoting to the platform, and the platform then doesn't reward your hard work by promoting you to other channels. Social media is a place where you really get a lot of strength in your music or acting, whatever you are doing in the entertainment space, because social media is like the social proof of the hard work, of the devotion to your craft. Point 4 about being a South African musician: don't just focus on South Africa. When you're creating your music and you're busy doing things, don't just focus on a local market. If you're doing that, it is such a difficult market. South Africa is a difficult market to get into. It's difficult to contact our radio stations without having like a PR person who's already connected in with the crowd, who's going to help get you into those places, because South Africa is very much who you know and not what you know. Whereas I think the rest of the world with regards to my music has been about quality, right? So focus on other areas, focus on other places, focus on creating music that a lot of people can listen to anywhere in the world and they can all enjoy it. So if that's being really unique, or if it's following the curve, or whatever you want to do, just make sure that it appeals to a broader audience outside of South Africa. All of your entertainment has to be world standard for it to grow even in one place. So that's a very important one, focus on other areas. Number 5, equipment. Do you need like really great equipment to start by yourself? I don't really think so. I think that today our phones are great enough to get us the kick we need, right? So to get somewhere, you need to put content out. And like I said, be consistent. So you putting out content, your phone microphone is great enough. Your earphones are good enough to get your sound out. So you start with that and then you slowly grow. You go and get a microphone when you can. You go and get, a MIDI controller. You get software, and if you're someone with these things already, then it's just about being consistent on social media and growing that, and then finding where your audience is and going to get it. So the right equipment doesn't really exist in the beginning phases. You can just have fun doing it. Number 6, try and get international exposure. So for me, and we'll get into like what I did in my story, I think closer to the end, but this is something about connecting and networking and everything, is look at ways to enter new markets. And entering new markets is just through consistent devotion to your work. If you're not consistently devoted to what you're doing, the rewards are not going to be what you want them to be. It's just the way it is. In this industry especially, any entertainment industry, you have to be so consistent and not stop. And it's going to sound so cheesy, but never giving up. Like, don't stop. It's the same with a business. It's the same with a family. It's the same with a marriage. It's the same with anything you do in your life. The success will come if you're constantly devoted. Now, I've spent the last 10 years really starting to pursue this. I say starting to, but like really pursuing my music and my acting as a career. I decided and I haven't stopped. And yes, I've tried other things on the side, but the main goal has always been this. And this is where my time goes. And this is where my energy gets thrown into, is my music and acting. It's what I want from life. So I'm going to let that fall into like the story and what sort of happened over the last couple of years really, and where the music started to actually happen for me. After doing a whole bunch of trial, error, and constantly failing, I've just been learning the whole time really, is that what kind of content is going to work for my following, what kind of content I put out that they will enjoy, because I don't think a lot of people in South Africa have the funds to consistently create albums. And if you're a sound engineer, then you already know how to do it and you should be doing that consistently. But if you aren't, and you're someone like myself who's been learning the sound engineering aspect of being a musician, it's not something that you just have money to do. So you should be doing covers. You should be doing little clips of these things. And one of the things that's developed over the years is what kind of content does well. Now, if you're consistent on social media, you'll see what does well and you'll see what your followers enjoy watching. So you can focus your energy there. And so what that kind of led to in my networking and in learning these things is what other opportunities are out there. And I happened to find a talent agency in South Africa called DMH. And DMH is essentially, it's a normal talent agency. It's just, I think it's actually international, just based in South Africa. But what they do is they've partnered up with this convention in America called iPop, which is International Presentation of Performers. And iPop is a convention where you go and perform like a normal competition. There's a small boot camp in the beginning, then you compete, then you get your awards. However, they invite agents, like top Hollywood agents, to come and watch. so that they can pick up talent. And the whole reason they do that is because for an agency in the US to find international talent, because they're at the level where they can just pick and find and choose who they want to work with, but that takes them 5 years. Whereas with iPop, it takes them 5 days to find the same level of talent within the shorter frame of time. So it's really important for you to look at these other avenues, and that's what I did. And I happened to be selected by DMH, and that took me to Los Angeles to perform for iPop, where I did meet agencies, and that's what I've been doing now for the last month and a half since I've been back from Los Angeles, is speaking with agencies. Now what that did for my music career, besides like, oh, okay, I've met a whole bunch of agencies for acting and music, it's a great story. So when you're coming to your media and your publications here in South Africa, people see, oh my word, like you were in Hollywood, you know, you were performing in Los Angeles, and these things are hyper important for your career, you know, it's a really big deal. So what that led to for me was also international radio interviews with Simon Orr. He's on Attic, huge internet radio station, and we've actually spoken before, and he did an interview with me last year. And since I've been back from Hollywood, he's now done another one asking about this trip.
Brand new artists. And one of those was Mitchell Godwin from South Africa.
So now I have people from all over the world hearing my music and hearing that story. At the same time, I've had local newspapers doing articles of me. I've always focused on publications, and they are very important when it comes to your visas and things like that, going into other countries. It's just proof of work, it's proof of ability. So the O1 visa in America literally looks for exceptional ability. That's what they ask for. They want proof of exceptional ability. And they give you a list of requirements, like international awards, publications about your work that are not like 2 days old. Obviously, that's not going to be great. So what the story kind of led into from my side is it was just constant devotion, which led me to the next step. There is no path that's already been paved as a musician or anyone in the entertainment industry in South Africa. There is no predetermined way to do this. You just have to be committed and not stop finding ways that work for you. That's what the journey's been like for me. I've just worked really hard, not stopped meeting new people, produced my music, published, constantly found new ways to explore, for other people to explore my music, and that led me around the world. So that's really what it takes, you know, and I would love to hear feedback from you guys about if this is a kind of video you enjoyed watching, if this is something you want me to do more often on different topics. Like, I'd be happy to start exploring that. Just let me know down in the comment section below what type of video or what topic you'd want me to talk about, and I'll happily like go into it for you. But that's what it's been for me, guys. It's been a whole bunch of devotion, consistency, and just never giving up, not stopping, just carrying on. And that's what took me to Los Angeles. So I hope that this video was insightful. I hope it helped. It would really help my channel and help my growth if you give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe as well. It tells the algorithm all the things it needs to know to help this video reach more people, and in turn help my music get to more people as well. I really had fun doing this. So like I said before, if you want me to do more of this, let me know. In other news, I do have a new song coming out quite soon. I'm busy in the production phase, and I think you guys are really going to love it. It's going to be a little bit different to my normal music, but this single is going to be coming out pretty soon. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well. That's where I'm going to release the information. My link will be down below, so you guys can just click it and follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to send me a DM. I love chatting to you guys. So I look forward to hearing from all of you, and thank you so much for the request for this video. I can't wait to do more.